Welcome back to the Educational Highway. Today, we are diving deep into something that literally shapes our entire world: communication. We're going to look at how we can navigate those tricky conversations, set some healthy boundaries, and, build stronger connections with the people who really matter to us. So let's get right into it.
Okay, have you ever felt this? I think every single one of us gets this. Someone says just the right thing or the wrong thing, and bam, that automatic knee-jerk reaction just fires off before we even have a chance to think. It happens with family, with friends, coworkers. It's a completely universal feeling.
Seriously, what if you could actually pause that automatic response? What if you could choose a better one? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore today. This isn't about trying to change other people. Nope. This is about taking back your own control and moving through your world with so much more confidence.
So, look, whether you're a student trying to get through a group project, a professional leading a team, a parent trying to connect with your kids, or honestly, just a dreamer who wants deeper, more meaningful relationships, these ideas can make a huge difference in your life.
A lot of our communication just happens on autopilot, right? It's driven by these old habits we've built up over years. But taking back control starts with this really simple but incredibly powerful idea: understanding what's actually in your power to change. You can't stop other people from trying to provoke you, but you absolutely can choose your own reaction.
This right here, this really separates it all out, doesn't it? What other people do? Well, that's their choice. But our emotions, our behavior, that's our court. And once you get aware of your own hot buttons, you can actually prepare a different response. And here's the real kicker. When you change your reaction, their button pushing just stops working. That is where your real power is.
Okay, so let's think about conversations like a map. Some paths are smooth, they're easy, those are the safe routes. But others, they're rocky, challenging terrain, and they require a lot more skill to get through. Knowing how to read this map helps you choose the right path for the right relationship.
We can pretty much break this whole map down into 4 main levels. We almost always start at level 1, small talk. It's safe, it's predictable, no surprises. As we get more comfortable, we might move to level 2, just sharing facts. But level 3, sharing our viewpoints and opinions, that's where things get a little riskier. And the final level, sharing our personal feelings, that requires some real trust. The key here is recognizing that trying to jump through these levels too fast can break a connection before it even gets a chance to start.
And the funny thing is, we do this instinctively every single day. Think about it. With a coworker, you're probably going to stick to small talk and facts. With an acquaintance, maybe you'll offer a light opinion. But it's with our loved ones, the people we trust, that we feel safe enough to share those deep personal feelings. The secret to really great communication is consciously matching the level of conversation to the strength of the relationship.
So knowing which conversational level is appropriate, that's really the first step in respecting boundaries. I want you to think of boundaries as your own personal space, like an invisible fence that protects your physical, your social, and your emotional well-being. Knowing where your fence is and learning how to see the fences of others is just absolutely critical.
So what is a boundary, really? It's just that line that defines your personal space. But it's not a wall that's meant to keep people out. It's more like a fence where you are the one who controls the gate. And that gate's location is different for everyone, and it can even change depending on the whole situation.
And here's the thing. A lot of the time, boundaries aren't communicated with words at all. Body language, it speaks volumes. The way someone stands, their facial expression, their eye contact, all of these are signals telling you whether you're welcome to come closer or if you need to give them some space.
Just think about the story of Matt and his neighbor Marcy. Marcy wanted to offer a hug, but she paused when she saw the look in Matt's eyes. It was this clear, unspoken message of not now. Instead of pushing, she respected that invisible fence. She just offered a gentle touch on his arm, which he accepted. That is masterful communication. It's listening with your eyes, not just your ears.
So how do we navigate those trickier emotional boundaries? Well, the key is to just take it slow. Start with safe, neutral topics. And this is crucial. Always ask permission before you dive deep. A simple, "Hey, is it okay if I ask you something a little personal?" puts the other person in complete control. And you have to be ready to fully respect their answer, especially if that answer is no.
Now, I want to turn this over to you for a second, because we have all been there. What's one boundary, physical, social, or emotional, that was a real challenge for you to learn how to set? Go ahead and drop your experience in the comments, because your story might be the exact thing someone else needs to read today.
All right, let's get practical. Let's talk tools.
A lot of communication advice can sound really unnatural or, canned. The whole goal here is to give you tools that you can actually use in your own voice, in your own way, to talk so people will really hear you, and to listen so people feel truly understood.
Disagreements are tough. The trick is to avoid making the other person feel like they're being attacked. If you start with an I statement, it frames the whole conversation around your perspective, not their flaws. A phrase like, "I have a different opinion about that," is so much more powerful than starting with, "Well, you're wrong because..." It's all about owning your view, not trying to demolish theirs.
Okay, just as important as talking is listening. People often hear the phrase active listening, and they imagine some, complicated therapist technique. But this next idea shows how we already use a simple form of it every single day, probably without even realizing it.
See? It's that simple. The cashier repeated the order back just to confirm it. When they got it wrong, you corrected them. At its core, that's all active listening is. In a more personal conversation, it's just paraphrasing, saying something like, "So it sounds like what you're feeling is..." It's just a quick check-in to make sure you're both really on the same page.
And finally, let's talk about what happens when we mess up. Because let's be honest, we all do. The most important communication skill isn't about being perfect all the time. It's about knowing how to take responsibility and make things right when you get it wrong.
The key here is to always start with I. I made a mistake. I really screwed up. This immediately signals that you're taking ownership instead of making excuses. But the most powerful part? It's the follow-up question. What can I do to make it right? That one question can shift the entire conversation away from the problem and toward the solution.
So let's just bring this all together. It's about being mindful, right? Matching your level of conversation to the relationship and paying attention to those unspoken cues. It's about communicating with integrity, using I statements to own your perspective, and really listening to understand others. And finally, it's about humility. When you get it wrong, you take responsibility, and you focus on making it right.
And just as a reminder, all of the concepts we've talked about in today's explainer are drawn from the work of the Educational Highway, and they're designed to help you on your journey toward more effective communication.
Let's end on this thought. This is really what it's all about. When you can build that bridge of mutual understanding, so many of life's challenges just melt away. The world truly becomes an easier and a better place to be.
So my final question for you is this. What's one tool from today that you're going to commit to trying this week? Maybe it's using an I statement, or maybe it's just remembering to ask for permission before diving deep. Share your commitment in the comments below, and let's put these powerful ideas into practice together.